Hello. We are halfway through. You guys are awesome. Woo! And let's get this party started. Here we are on week 5, touching one of the topics that you guys have been asking about and for since the very beginning of times. We're going to talk about social media today. If you haven't already, please join our Facebook group. This screenshot was taken today. We are 177 members now. This is a combination in between participants of this program and participants of the previous program. And that is where we share all of the slides, all the presentations, all the recordings. I do send you guys an email with all of that, but there are also conversations that are happening here that I think are very useful for everybody. And it's also a good place to ask for feedback and to learn from each other. Here we are today on week number 5. Remember, tomorrow, Lily and Tori are hosting their mentor hour at 10 in the morning. Jessica's mentor hour is going to be next Tuesday at 11. All right. So this program is funded by the EDA and all of our partners in cities and counties. We're already on the welcome. Oh my God, I am so sorry. I did not realize that I made a mistake here. The feature speaker is Jessica, not Lily and Tori, although I know you guys loved them yesterday. We're gonna do the breakout session a little earlier today at 10. And then we're gonna have some information on things that are coming up. And with that, I want to introduce you to Jessica. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So Jessica is an expert on social media. Her and I met a long time ago, a few years ago. And in the past few years, she has developed a social media agency, or I actually think it's expanding a little bit beyond social media. A media agency, let's just call it. And it is purposeful, it is women-led, it's focused on being able to help people find their real voice and then express it throughout all of their channels. And I am very happy to have her here. You guys know that I always monitor the chat, so any questions that you have, I'm extracting them to ask them throughout the questions. We are going to have a Q&A session too. But you know, if she's talking about something and you need a clarification, that's something that we can plug in. And I think that with that, Jessica, take it away.
Awesome. Good morning, guys. It's so good to be with you. Thanks for having me. I love seeing all your faces here on Zoom. I am Jess. I will get to my intro slides here in a second, but my pronouns are she, her. I'm based here in Portland, Oregon. I'm curious how many of you are based in Oregon. I know that RAIN started in Oregon, but you guys have expanded a lot. So I'm so curious just to know where you guys are. If you want to put that in the chat. I would love to see. I see Ashland. Oh, Ashland is so beautiful. Portland and Corvallis. Corvallis is where I met Ani and also Allison. And Phoenix, awesome. I'm about to go there. Cottage Grove, Lebanon, awesome. I love it. So Ani, shall I start sharing my screen?
Sure.
Awesome, because I'll just dive into it. Have a proper introduction here. And then definitely I love to have fun during these, and I love to hear directly feedback from you guys, how things are resonating. If you want to hear more on something or want me to expand a little on something, definitely let me know in the chat too. In the meantime, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. You can see this? Okay, beautiful. Yeah, I don't think you can see it full screen if I have it like this, can you? Okay, awesome. Okay, So again, hi, I'm Jess, and today we're going to talk about social media magic. So Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook specifically. Really excited to talk to you guys about optimizing your social media to convert followers into customers. Because it's one thing to be scrolling on rabbit holes all day and to be showing up for the sake of showing up. That's another thing to have some strategy into it, to, let it be social and to optimize it and to see it convert and work for you instead of feeling like you're working for the app you're on, if anyone can relate to that. Okay, so welcome. A little bit of an agenda here. Can you see my mouse? All right. Not that I know if I'll use it a lot, but little ADHD kicking in there. Introduction. I will then talk about how to set yourself up for success. Set yourself up for success on social media in the long run, and some strategy pieces that will be applied across all these platforms. And then we'll speak specifically about Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, specifically the kinds of people who tend to be on the app, how to speak to people and connect with your ideal customer or clients on those apps. And then we will have questions and answers in a breakout session too. Make sure I can keep my eye on the chat a little bit here too. Awesome. And I already see a question. Is there a tool or service to post one video production to multiple social media platforms? Yes, I love later.com, which we'll get into for sure. For scheduling posts. So hello, it's so good to meet you guys. Again, I'm Jess, just pronounced normal like Jess. I'm the founder and CEO of Style Opal, a ladies first social media and communications agency. Like Ani said, we've been expanding, and actually at the end here, I'll mention an Instagram live we have coming up actually tomorrow, where we're changing our handle, and we'll talk about why we're doing that and kind of as we're doing it. So that'll be fun. My other business is called Upper Left Ladies. This is a community of women and femme entrepreneurs, creatives, and doers in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. We have a membership. And yeah, today I'll be speaking from experience of the last 7 or so years of working with small, medium business owners on helping them create a social media profile that converts. Here's a few of our services just to give you some background. Social media management is the meat of what we do at Style Opal, but also sometimes it's strategy, photo shoots, which I love, influencer marketing, which we can get into in Q&As. If you guys like Reels creation, coaching, ads, another Portland person. Awesome. So that's a little bit of background there. Working with local businesses from unique markets, Portland, to local CBD beauty companies like Make and Marry, to some larger projects for styling and production for companies like Adidas and Microsoft. So kind of running the gamut, but I love focusing on small business owners and small businesses and helping them thrive through social and having it feed into their business in a meaningful way, and also bringing back the social into social media, which I think is very needed right now. So our objective today is you'll learn how to optimize your social media presences and content to convert followers into customers. And because the landscape of social is constantly changing, I'm sure we all are used to, especially Instagram, opening it up and, every week it seems there's another update. So there are things that I'll speak to that are a little bit more in the moment, or especially to, like have been made to algorithm. Most of what will different platform. Excited to learn about today. What's on your mind right now in terms of social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok? Excited to try and figure out algorithms. Absolutely. Am I cutting out to anyone else?
Yeah, you did cut out for a little bit there, and I think everybody was wondering if it was their connection.
Oh, no.
It looks like we're good now.
Okay, good. Okay, good. And then I would love to ask you guys, are most of you running your own social media, or do you have it outsourced? How to convert Instagram followers into customers? Absolutely. This will definitely help on kind of where I take this. It seems like we have a mix though. Doing my own, and some people hire it out. Awesome. Do our own badly. That's great. Okay, we'll get into it. And also there's some slides in here where I speak a little bit to showing up personally and for personal brands too. And we'll talk about things that can save you some time as well. I know May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm very aware of how social media can affect our mental health for those of us who run it ourselves. No need to be online all the time, but let's make the most of your time to see it work for you. So let's start here. Okay, a few timeless tips for social media success. So social media is the welcome to the party of your business, and it's part of a bigger machine, right? Part of a complete marketing plan. It's kind of like the cheerleader to to the football game. It is the usher in, the welcome in. Today you might notice me making a lot of party analogies, because I like to think about social media as your corner of the internet. It's your party on the internet, and you're inviting people in and making them feel seen and heard. There's a lot of analogies that are fun to explore that really help. And so, yeah, social media is great for discoverability, getting found, that initial brand awareness, and remaining top of mind, so that when your ideal customers or clients are looking for the product or service you provide, they know exactly who they're going to work with or purchase from. And then it's also about building relationships, which is so easy to forget despite the word social being right there in front of us. It's Instagram, I think, is now a teenager at 13 years old. So we need to remind ourselves, keep it social. And that's when it converts too, because at the end of the day, it is, they are humans on the other ends of these screens, believe it or not, just like we are right now. Second, I know you guys have gone over this earlier in your program, but it's so important to know exactly who you're talking to, and as we'll talk about today, how they show up on these specific platforms. And you might have a few different ideal customer or client avatars, which we'll get into as well. But yeah, it's definitely about meeting them where they're at, and create content and a bio, which we'll get to later as well, that is an intersection of your expertise and value that your product or service provides and the needs of their client. All right. Third, consistency is key. I cannot stress this enough. Just like with anything, as I know a lot of you entrepreneurs know, you wouldn't be here today if you didn't know what consistency, can reward you with. But I really encourage you, if for those who are managing their own social pages, I will say to figure out a posting plan that works for you and your company and stick to it. At least try to stick to it for, a month, a strategy at least for 3 months, because the algorithms on the social media platforms are paying attention to your post time patterns. A lot of these platforms are no longer totally chronological, but still the algorithms are taking in the information about how you tend to spend your time on social, when and how you share your posts, so they can learn how to share it with your audience and with people who have never found you before as well. So I know someone asked about schedulers earlier. There are a few good ones out there, like Planoly, Buffer, Sprout. My favorite is later.com, especially if Instagram is higher up on your priorities for your social media presences. I like it a lot because of their analytics. They even have, for our social media management clients and for all of our accounts too, for my businesses, you can turn on a setting that activates your best time to post, so you can have that consistent time and have it be when your followers are online. It also gives you analytics, even as far as hashtag analytics and which analytics are getting you the most reach. and impressions, saves, and sends, which are all analytics I definitely say are more important than followers. We'll say that out the bat too. Followers are fantastic, but we want people to see your post. And as you know, popularity doesn't equal profitability. So I definitely want to remind us all to not only are we growing our audiences and communities, but we're also talking about fostering our current communities and keeping them with us for the journey. What do I think about, I'm looking at the chat, what do I think about Canva for scheduling? I haven't used Canva for scheduling. Has anyone here used Canvas for scheduling? I love it for designs though, and for social media posts and even some good stock. Okay. Boosting your bio. Okay, so let's talk about your social media bio, because essentially when folks find you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, people are choosy these days, right, on who they will follow. And it'll take them sometimes as little as 30 seconds to hop on your profile. Can I figure, is it obvious, you know, what they do? Can I tell what they do or how they can help me? Do I feel seen and heard in this content? Do I want to hit follow? That can take, yeah, as little as 30 seconds, they're going to make that decision. So you definitely want to be, yeah, forthright about your value in your profile. And these will be, this will depend on the different social media platform, of course, but let's get into kind of a good formula for this, which it sounds like you guys have covered some of this. And yeah, I'll keep an eye on some of the questions that come in, but I will look out for Annie fielding some too, and we'll get to Q&A at the end too. But I do love to do as we go, as I'm able to. So it sounds like you guys have done a version of this. But I definitely think if you have a strong I help statement, or some people call it their brand declaration, which I think is a really powerful word and really powerful way to say it. This is your pitch, right? This is like what you can say in a networking event. It's also what you can say on your social media profiles in your bio, but then also in your content, in your video content, thinking about posts that people might see when they first find you. So speaking of Instagram specifically, for example, we'll get into in a little bit Instagram story highlights, and how I definitely recommend having a FAQ or start here Instagram story highlight. And that is exactly what I would start with. It would be introducing who you are. So it's I or we, action verb, right? And here's some examples of that. I make, or we host, we produce, we manage, I help, for or with who, so who you're serving. And this could be busy moms, winemakers. For us, it's purpose-driven businesses and entrepreneurs. And then what's your brand promise? So what's the transformation you provide? And again, I definitely recommend putting this in your bio, so it's so easy to tell in the first 30 seconds what you do. And if you are the kind of person they help, if they're going to gain something from following you, is really the decision they're making in their mind. So the third piece of this is, what is your brand promise? So are you promising them to gain their time back, break into an industry? For us, it's something like convert followers into customers. So this is a piece that's definitely going to be strong for strengthening your bio. And Daniel, I recommend later.com for managing social media. It might depend on what platforms you're going to be on. I do recommend scheduling Facebook through Facebook itself, because Facebook doesn't like when you use third-party tools as much. But for Instagram, I use Later. And actually, for people who we have a more in-depth Pinterest strategy for the best Pinterest scheduling tools, definitely Tailwind. Not that we're talking about Pinterest too much today, but figure it helps to drop that. Here we are. Do you do the same bio statement if you're a company? Yes, absolutely. I would just change it to, yeah, we. For Facebook, I would schedule honestly through Facebook itself. That's what we do. That's what we've seen the best results for. Okay. So let's talk about content pillars. How many of you guys have developed content pillars for your business before? Curious to know. Just give me a yes or no. Okay, awesome. I'm glad this is, new things. So content pillars, this can be applied across all of your content platforms. Social media, absolutely. That's what we're talking about today. But also your newsletter list, if you have a podcast, if you have a blog, really good content, and especially a good valuable post, which is what you want, is going to check one of these boxes. So, and we can talk about how these
Jyssica,
Mhm.
Can you explain a little bit what is the content pillar itself?
Yes, absolutely. So a content pillar is basically a background, basically a list of types of content that you publish on a regular basis. So for us, like educate turns into social media tips or marketing tips, and then inspire would turn into sharing my brand story, sharing a client testimonial, sharing an entrepreneur that inspires me. Entertain would look something like reels, TikToks, memes that have to do with social media and social media mindset. Social media mindset is something I'm really passionate about, and we can get into here as much as is helpful. I have some material here for my social media mindset workshop. And again, nodding to Mental Health Awareness Month. And fourth is inform. So inform is letting them in on why your service or product is so special. So essentially, I think what would be a really good activity for everyone to do, and I can dive into a little bit more about how these might look, but I think it's a really good idea for everyone to look at these themes here: educate, inspire, entertain, inform, and figure out what examples of these posts could look like for their business. So I'll back that up and let me know if that is resonating with what content pillars are, but it's like a backbone for the content for your business. Like I tell my consulting and coaching clients, like if you're in a spot where you just don't know what to post, hopefully you're planning in advance and you have a strategy and you have a content calendar to give yourself some posts for prompting. That's definitely something I recommend. But if you're in a spot where you're like just grabbing for content, I always say pull from one of these, and what's something that you can share to add value to your customer or clients experience with you online. So for educate, I'm going to go a little bit deeper on these because I want to make sure I'm covering as much in the application realm as I can. So for educate, I want to make sure and share that, especially for Instagram, we're really looking at these days saves and shares. So saves the bookmark button, and then shares the paper airplane button. Educational content is absolutely what helps you get those saves and shares, because they're thinking, this advice is so good, I have to save it for later, or this recipe is so good, or this DIY, I'm going to save it for later or share with somebody else. It's telling the algorithm that it's that important and that valuable to share with folks. But just think about something from your expertise or from your product and the value that brings to folks too. So educate, that's pretty straightforward. Educate, when you talk about how to flip these into visuals. So I would definitely make note of these 4 pillars and figure out like what the message looks like for you typically. And then take that and think about how it would typically show up in visual form. And having kind of like 4 or 5 key buckets and themes for you also helps in that apps like Instagram, where it is a grid. It will kind of help create a mood board feel, an overarching story feel, where you get an idea of it's really clear what you do and what you offer and for who. So for educate, that's a really good pillar to bring graphics into. Creating a simple graphic on Canva that it's educational. Great place for graphics. I am going to begin here talking about video, because video, I'm sure you guys know, is queen online these days. So educate putting that into a reel or a TikTok or a quick video where you can just share from your expertise. Sometimes that'll take a shorter amount of time than it would typing out a post with the whole thing. I definitely like using that as a kind of time saver and also as a way to connect with your audience. So like I was saying, for inspire can be a lot of things, but think about what you're inspiring with them. Think about what feelings you want to have them associate with your business. I'm curious what comes to mind for you guys, actually, when folks find you online, on your website, on your social. How do you want them to feel? Do you want them to feel inspired, relaxed, motivated? Oh, I love the belonging and acceptance, Loki. That is beautiful. So really getting clear on, the feelings that you want folks to associate with your business, and especially from landing on your profile, that will influence, the colors you use, the visuals you use, belonging. That is beautiful. Awesome. Expressive, inspired, and comforted. You make jewelry and art. Great. Yeah. It is helpful for me if I see what kind of business you have next to your response. I love all the member and belonging piece, because when used right, I mean, social media is such a good tool for community, especially Instagram and sometimes Facebook. TikTok, I have a little bit of a bone to pick about with community that we'll get to, but it's still a really good platform to be in. So again, inspire a feeling, inspire an action, like purchasing from you or commenting on this post. But there's a lot of things you can do with inspiring. This, for some of you, might even look like, I see, like belonging, inspired, motivated, some quotes, sharing a story from your time with a client or customer. For entertain, this is basically, this is an easy way to think about this, is your video content. I'm curious to know how many of you guys are exploring with video, sharing with video on social media, actually, to begin with, to gauge for these next slides too. For video, are you guys experimenting and posting with Reels or TikToks yet? Started doing Reels. Some have started doing Reels. Video all day. Yeah, video is absolutely what folks are looking for and want to engage with. I know it can be scary, and that's why I have some posts down the line here, or some slides down the line here on some tips for that. And really, I know you guys have done your avatar exercise, and I'll send you guys my Instagram avatar Mad Lib worksheet that helps you create an Instagram follower avatar to help you understand how, and this can be applied across different platforms too, but it's part of my Instagram bootcamp workbook. And it is designed to help you know how your ideal follower shows up on Instagram or the social media platform you're looking at, so you can speak to them for where they're at there. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Okay. So entertain. That's also a good place for me to remind, if people are logging on for social media, think about the way you use social media, right? Picking it up and scrolling for a little bit in your day. You're there to get inspired, to be entertained, for a little break, to have a laugh. So I definitely encourage us all not to take ourselves too seriously here. Have some fun. The entertain category definitely looks different for different businesses, and it will resonate more with some models than others. It's not like anyone here needs to become a pro, TikTok dancer if that's not your jam. Reels and TikTok are not just for dancing, but they're for, creating educational or edutainment, which is a combination of education and entertainment, edutainment type of content that really resonates with social media users these days. Lastly is inform. A lot of social media experts will tell you that your social media needs to check one of these boxes under educate, inspire, entertain. I integrated inform as well, because I think it's so important, and especially for those of us who run our own socials, and especially for those of you who are a personal brand, like a coach or a healer or a therapist. Love to see who the personal brands are in the chat. This is a reminder for you to share about your services and how people can hire you and why your product or service or your process is special. This is also for the product-based businesses, but I want to just make a special shout out to the personal brands, because sometimes I ask people how often that they, reminded people how they can hire you and work with them. And for some folks, it has been far too long. And sometimes this also just looks like sharing a part of your process, like for some of our social media, for some of our photo shoot clients who are in like the wellness or spirituality space. For some folks, we like to do a little like oracle card pulling before our shoot. And that's something that resonates with some of our really ideal clients, which is fun. Oh, we have an author, personal brand, time management coach. I love that. Fitness program. Awesome. So yes, like I was saying, definitely take some time to think about how these show up in your business on the storytelling front, so on the caption front, and then also how they tend to show up visually. Another social media agency. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions?
There are a lot of questions. So I don't know if you want to like be able to cover all the content and then leave the questions for the end, or if we can just sprinkle one question over here and then we'll leave the other ones on the end and get the two of both worlds.
Sounds good.
That sound good? All right. So let me pull this one up over here. Oh, which one do I choose? I'm just going to choose the first one. Is there a tool or service to post one video production to multiple social media platforms?
The question is, is there a tool for posting one video on multiple social media platforms?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. So what we do for video, it kind of depends on if you're talking about reels and TikToks or just videos in general. A lot of the social media schedulers I was referencing earlier do allow this. We use later.com, which I can put in the chat, later.com. And yeah, that is a good question. So that would allow us to schedule the same video onto Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, TikTok. They even just started doing TikTok scheduling, which is so nice. You still on Later, which is my favorite social media platform, scheduling platform, you still can't schedule reels for some reason. For Instagram reels, we're still waiting some more tools and capabilities with it. You can't like auto schedule reels right now. But you absolutely can use a platform like that to accomplish that. And if you're sharing, I'll speak more to this later as well, but if you're sharing a reel on Instagram, for example, I would definitely, or a TikTok, but you want to post that on Instagram, or really want to post on TikTok, definitely remove the watermark from whatever platform you're creating or posting it on, because the algorithms will dock you from, sharing, Instagram competing with TikTok, TikTok's competing with reels, all of these good things. Okay. Is it okay to share the same content across all platforms? Definitely I would optimize it if you're scheduling across platforms. We're going to get to that too. So yeah, we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end as well. I'm curious to know so far what's resonating and what you will apply first. So let's get into Instagram. I'm curious to know, are you guys on Instagram? And for how many of you is Instagram your primary social media platform? I'm curious to know that. So some facts about Instagram, which are just crazy to me. 1.22 billion people use Instagram each month. We're going to dive into, in these slides, going over each of these platforms. We're going to talk about how folks show up differently on the platforms. So age range, Instagram has 18 to 34-year-olds make up the biggest share of Instagram audience, with 35 to 44-year-olds next. And then 59% of US adults use Instagram daily. I think that's a lot of us here. And 44% of people use Instagram to shop weekly. It absolutely influences folks' purchases. A lot of folks are out there looking to find the product or service that you offer on Instagram. So absolutely, we're going to get into some tips on how to go about that. You're going to plan to implement the content pillars right away. I love it. Actually, and speaking of shopping with Instagram, this week, I think really recently, they released a feature that I've been anticipating and excited for a long time, where you can take a photo for shopping on Instagram. Which to have your products shoppable on Instagram, you need a Facebook shop, and to upload your products on there as your product catalog. But there's now a new tool where you can take a photo of the thing that you want to shop for, and it'll show you similar products. So that is something really exciting that's going to, I think, bring a lot of shifts. I'm trying to get my life back and not post on social. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, there's so much I have to say about that. So we'll get to that as well. All right. So Instagram is a perfect place to inspire your community. So think about why they're here. If they're scrolling, they're here to get inspired, to relax and take a break, to connect with their community, laugh, or learn something. And again, think about how you want them to feel when they land on your content, because these are the feelings that they will associate with your business. So yeah, healers and wellness studio owners, you want them to feel relaxed or motivated at the get-go. And this will also impact your visual storytelling on Instagram. So on Instagram, we have our feeds that you can see about 9 posts at a time, right? So a lot of times when working with clients, I'll refer to your top 9, just like your most recent 9 images. And I always have an eye on the preview feed of Instagram and kind of asking myself, is it visually clear what we do? So like we do social media. So I'm like, is there a phone or a laptop in the screen? If you are a photographer, maybe you don't only have photos of your edited photos for your clients, but maybe you have a photo of you with your camera, pulling back the curtain a little bit. So I definitely challenge everyone to look at your profile and see if by a 30-second look at your profile, can they tell what you offer and how you help people? This is also why it's so important to have the information on how the transformation you provide in your bio as well. For that I help statement we mentioned earlier. And then lifestyle content rules Instagram. This is definitely not the place to be simply posting product photos. And I will say, there's not one complete, one size fits all situation for Instagram strategy. But as a rule of thumb, lifestyle content rules, we want to see humans. We want to see people interacting with your product. We want to see people living their lives and smiling and seeing basically the lifestyle they can have and or be a part of, or kind of see more elevated in their lives when they are a part of your community, or if they are using your product, or if they're working with you and your services. If you have a one-on-one service, I always like to say to have photos of you and someone who looks like a client, so they can envision themselves in that place, envision themselves working with you. And if you offer a virtual service, like here on Zoom, to have even content of you at your computer, speaking to your camera, talking with your people, things like this, or you from behind with your presentation with your client in front of you on Zoom. These are some examples. But Instagram specifically, I like to think about kind of like your online magazine, because it is so visual, and you're really going to be taking an overarching story away from looking at the profile. And it's kind of like one overarching story of your brand. And then when you click on each post, it's stories within that. It's all storytelling over here. And then for captions, I could say so much about captions. I definitely think that copy and captions is the number one underutilized just part of social, especially on Instagram, but I would say on social in general, because good copy is definitely what can take a post from, being okay and inspirational to actionable to copy that converts, that is clear for them. So for captions, there's a few tips here. And I see someone saying copy on Instagram is searchable through SEO as well. Absolutely. Yeah. SEO has become a bigger and bigger part of Instagram. So definitely be thinking of keywords to implement throughout your social. This shows up in your name. So not your handle, where like my handle is, or our business's handle is at the Style Opal. My chat is going crazy right now. That's our handle, right? The Style Opal. But on our name, if you see our profile, we put social media agency, or you might put Pacific Northwest photographer, or you just want to put the keywords in your name, because when people search within Instagram, you're more likely to come up if you have those keywords there, as well as, yes, in your bio and your captions and your copy, which is so great, because people are, if we're creating all this content for social media, it better be so searchable and building our SEO all the while, right? So other tips for Instagram captions: begin your caption with an attention grabber or intriguing thought that'll make them click see more. So with Instagram, and one of the first indicators to the algorithm that people like your post, they like your content, they want to engage with it, is that they're spending some time looking at it and they're clicking that see more button to read the rest of the caption. This by no means that we need to be writing novels or microblogs with our captions, but as a rule of thumb, maybe a paragraph's worth, something like this, almost looks like a good example of a length of a caption. Truly depends on the goal of the post. Educational posts, will be oftentimes a bit longer. I share a lot of educational posts where I start the caption with something like 5 tips on utilizing videos on social media, and then breaking it up. On Instagram, it's really helpful to break your copy up, your captions up, line by line, sentence by sentence. It doesn't have to be exact like that, but it definitely helps guide the eye along your caption and keep folks reading. I like to use emojis for my bullet points, and emojis definitely do guide the eye along your caption. I also think in terms of social media, it's so fun and something that helps make your brand stick with people in their mind, right? Thinking about, like I said earlier, the feelings they associate with your company. Also, what visuals, what colors do they associate with people? I've had people tell me that when they see lilac, they think of me, and I'm like, yes, that means it's working. And there are certain feelings associated with that color that I like to weave in too. But for copy, emojis, that's what I was going to say. Developing or creating some brand emojis for yourself, some go-to emojis, is a lot of fun, and it'll help stick in people's minds, and maybe over time they'll see that emoji and think about your brand. We use the crystal ball one a lot, or the sparkles one a lot, and you can get really creative there. Okay. Also, on the topic of captions, calls to action, definitely put them to work. Put them at the end of your post. Put them in your bio. Actually, I'm going to talk about your Instagram bio really quick and go back to my Instagram as a party analogy here. And also, Ani, will you let me know how I'm doing on time? I want to make sure I'm not.
Yes, so we are about to run out of time. No, I'm kidding. We have about 10 to 15 more minutes of the presentation.
Okay.
And on your caption situation, somebody asked that they say that it's important. They've heard that it's important to ask questions so that people can
Yeah.
interact with you. Is that correct?
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. One of the best things you can do to drive engagement is to ask questions, and start with asking easy to answer questions, yes or no questions, this or that questions. Put questions in your stories where they can engage with polls. That's, yeah, so good for gauging where your customers or clients are at. That's like a chance for you to do research on your community too, and also just make them feel involved and impacted from your story. So in the interest of time, I probably will pick up my speed a little bit so I can make sure I can talk enough about the other platforms as well. But calls to action, put a call to action in your bio as well. So like I said, you're going to make it seem immediately valuable. Let it be known the value they're going to be getting from following you. So set up a freebie or a low cost value add, something like a blog or an introductory discount or a downloadable in exchange for their email address. Link something in your bio that is like, my analogy here is going to be like a glass of bubbles, a little champagne when they walk in get to your party, you say, hey, I'm so glad you're here. This is what's going on. Would you like some champagne or some CBD elixir bevs if you're here in Oregon? Might be just as popular. So yeah, welcome them in, and that's going to make them say, wow, I'm already getting this free content from this free, value or low cost value just immediately. Amazing. I'm going to stick around. What else is coming? So one of the last things I'll say about Instagram right for now is that Reels are queen, Reels are king, they are everything, and they are still often 2 or 3xing folks' Instagram reach and impressions compared to still posts. Video, one thing I'll say about video is that it makes someone feel like they're there with you, right? It brings them in an emotional level, on a personal level. And especially after all the isolation over the last couple of years, wherever we can create connection, that is what's going to bring us closer to what we want and our goals, and just to drive meaningful connection, to drive the relationships that will ultimately convert to customers too in an aligned way. Definitely when we're talking reels, they don't need to be complicated. Any video can be a reel. Just get started even by sharing a couple tips off the bat, or you can even, if you're not comfortable sharing your face yet, you can even share a video of nature, or like I always go back to my wellness studios because I love working with them, a video of like a rippling stream with some beautiful water sounds, and to invoke that relaxation feeling, if that's a feeling you want them to feel when they interact with your business. But use trending audio. Trending audio is when you click on an audio in Reels. So when you're looking at a reel, at the bottom, you'll see the audio, and you click the audio and see how many people are making videos off of them. And really what you want to see is that they are getting high views, that if there's like a K, if there's like 10K views is like something you're seeing frequently, are high view counts on people's reels using these trending audios. That's a good sign that maybe you should use the audio too. So hit the save button and use that for your future reels. That is one of the best ways to expand your reach. And if you have a business account, I know they don't give you access on Instagram as much as to the full audio library, but one of my favorite ways around that is saving other people's audio. Saving other people's audio, because often if there's a song that Instagram business, like Harry Styles As It Was song, is so popular right now, a lot of business accounts don't have access to that, but it's so popular that there are other people creating their own, which I'm not here to give legal advice by any means, but that is why people are going around that, and I haven't heard anyone get in trouble for that. That said, when it comes to reposting, not to get too tangential here, I will say when it comes to reposting on Instagram, always get written permission to share content that someone else made on your socials. Instagram is cracking down more and more on that and on profiles who are just using repost as their strategy. All right. So like I said, social media is your party on the internet, and some other ways to get personal and to bring some personalization into this is using voice message. In your DMs, there's a button with a little microphone where you can send a voice message. That's a great way to get just to get a little closer with somebody more quickly, especially if you are providing a personal service or something like this, or coaches. Ask questions like you're saying earlier, and then video is queen. I'm going to keep tapping along here. All right. So for Facebook is the world's most active social media platforms. Actually, the country with the most Facebook users is India. But Facebook has had, 2.9 billion monthly active users in January. The demographics here are 25 to 34-year-olds make up the biggest share of the audience here. And Facebook accounts for over a quarter of all digital ad spending, right behind Google and surpassing Amazon. So that's huge. People are on Facebook typically to connect with their friends, family, community members, and events. So Facebook groups are a really good place for businesses to network or to share some free value, to position themselves as an expert. Groups are a really good place to do this. And then also definitely recommend for the small businesses and solopreneurs out there too, small businesses, medium businesses, to feed into your social media profile, to feed into your Facebook profile from your personal one as well. Which platforms do a 40 to 60-year-old use? I would say out of these three, probably Facebook the most, and then maybe Instagram. They use the local coffee shop. So for Facebook to optimize, if you sell a product, absolutely set up a Facebook shop so folks can shop your products from Facebook or from ads you set up or from Instagram. And another thing that's really simple, that something you could implement today, is for your Facebook cover photo, upload a video instead of a photo. That is so much more engaging and really draws us in. Alyssa, I see your comment. I know it feels like a full-time job. So something I'll say for that too is, even just getting started with one of these platforms, if it is feeling overwhelming, starting with one platform and really just getting to some level of consistent there that is manageable for you. Definitely don't need to be everywhere all at once, but social media schedulers are so good for this too. And just setting aside like dedicated time to batch out posts rather than getting sucked into the rabbit hole too. There's so many, I have a lot to say about mindset and burnout and social. So we're all right there with you. Okay, schedule Facebook's posts with Facebook instead of a third-party app, like I was saying earlier. Also, in your settings, you can go into Instagram and Facebook settings for stories and sync them so they're automatically showing on both profiles. That's an easy way to just cross post your content there. For Facebook, whenever we're cross-posting an Instagram caption or post to Facebook for clients, something we do to adjust, of course, is there is no link in bio in Facebook. Instead, you have the link in your post, and Facebook is definitely more, people are reading it a little bit more like stanza by stanza instead of line by line on Instagram. So good to to include your link in the first section of your caption and make sure your preview image is clickable. Yeah. Okay. Also, ads, a little bit on ads. Facebook is a little bit more of a pay-to-play space. So definitely recommend using Facebook ads, but not without a solid strategy. I've definitely seen folks waste some money on social media ads, but they can work really well with the right strategy. So I will just speak a little bit to ads to make sure I'm keeping on going, but something you'll definitely want to do is create different ads audiences that look like specific sections of your ideal demographics. So if you have that avatar or the avatar, you do the avatar worksheet, I will be sending, you can do 3 of those, you can have 3 of them. Maybe you have one avatar that is a young, woman, like 29, self-starter in the city, and then you have an outdoors lover who skews a little bit more this way, and you'll just put in as many specifics as you can about what they look like and how they spend their time and the things that they're interested in. But as a rule of thumb, it's always good to run an ongoing page like campaign to build that brand awareness. Even a little bit of spend daily or weekly can go a long way. And then boosting posts is good for posts that are already performing well. But I definitely would recommend pairing a page campaign with more specific campaigns to help with your lead generation. Things like linking to that freebie that you have in your Instagram bio, for example. Okay. And then TikTok, the most rapidly growing social media platform. How many of you guys are on TikTok? I would love to know how many are on TikTok. And for some of you guys, I would say the first step in creating a TikTok is honestly start to create reels, at least, somewhat consistently. See if you can get yourself to post a reel a week and then repost that reel on to TikTok. And if you save actually, I'm going to take that back. But yeah, what I was about to say, but yes, cross post the reel to TikTok, and that will at least get your TikTok profile going. As you guys might know, some of you are on TikTok, most of you are not. Some are on TikTok. Awesome. It's most popular among millennials and Gen Z, as I think but TikTok users watch a lot of content on the app, about 24 hours of content on the app each month. When you talk about social media scrolling rabbit holes, TikTok ones can be the most consuming because they are bite-sized content. But like I was saying earlier, that's definitely to speak to burnout and how some of this can get overwhelming. This is definitely why I do recommend dedicating a couple hours every week or monthly to batch out content and create it at once, so you don't feel like you have to be everywhere all at once, online, all these platforms all at once. I'm too old for TikTok. You never know. And yeah, it does skew a lot younger, but of course, if we're in business, we're thinking about the long term. They might not have the spending power now, they will later. And they also might tell their parents or their older friends about the things they find there. TikTok is great for bite-sized entertainment. It is all about entertainment. When I spoke to the pillars earlier, for community aspects, definitely Instagram and Facebook are stronger there. And TikTok is a space that is a bit more unfiltered, and they're sharing entertaining videos, or like I said, edutainment content. Edutainment content is definitely where I think a sweet spot is for business owners. And also, I want to note, users do have a shorter attention span here. So sometimes 6 to 9 second videos even do really well. Sometimes it's a matter of just drawing them in to a call to action, or to teaching them something really quickly, or something like this. The platform is very trend-based also, and quantity does matter on TikTok. Even more than I think other platforms. They're paying attention to who's sharing consistently, and then I see a lot of posts get picked up by the algorithm when they're already sharing consistently on TikTok. TikTok's a space to have a lot of fun though too. I would definitely explore some trends, see which one resonates with your business. And then for optimization, one of the best pieces of advice I think I can give for TikTok is that it's a creator's first platform. It's a personal platform. It works well for brands the most when you have a face of your company on your TikTok. You know, maybe it's someone young on your team, maybe it's you. I've seen folks bring on influencers to take over their TikTok, and now they're the face of the TikTok. But that's what folks are resonating with there. They're there to find creators and people who are entertaining them or teaching them something or making them think out of the box. You can also make TikToks in response to comments, which is a really fun, creative way to create content. It's also an easy way to for you to know what is resonating with your community and how to kind of bring a community aspect to it. Yeah. And then, like I said, repost your TikTok to Reels just to move the watermark first, which you can find in a quick Google search. Okay. Ani, am I running short on time here for the last slides?
Yeah, but I think that it's okay if you finish that up, and then we'll go into the breakout session a little bit later.
Okay. Just remember how many. Okay, cool. Yeah. Just a couple more slides here, because I do want to dig into as much Q&A as we can too for the execution for how you guys will apply this to your businesses specifically. So a few tips for showing up on video. One of the biggest pieces of advice I can especially if it is you sharing, you know, personally, or if it is someone on your team sharing, even at the end of the day, treat it like a one-on-one conversation. A lot of times when I'm sharing things on my personal page, where I do some brand collaborations, and also it feeds into my other businesses, and I will say, I feel like you would love this, or hey, you, like, you're doing great today. You know, like, some of these things might seem a little cheesy, but truly it makes somebody feel so much more seen and heard when you remember that you're speaking to one person, especially if video is scary, is scary for you, just remembering that there's one person on the other side. You're truly not talking to a room of all these people. Like, you're not in an auditorium, you know, it really is one person. And so speaking to them as if it's a one-on-one conversation in a bit more casual tone, right? That will resonate. Also, pauses are powerful. I like to bring this reminder up. Know your vibe ups. So we all know the things that hype us up, that vibe us up. If it's listening to some Beyonce, or doing a little workout first, or doing some power poses, practice taking up space with your body too, for those who are wanting to gain confidence in video. Figure out what makes you feel great and energized and confident, and do that before showing up on video, so you show up in that space for video in a place where you can share and give from an aligned place, because what you give is what you get with that. Absolutely. I'd love to hear what vibe up people resonate with. What makes you feel good about showing up on video if you're starting to get comfortable with video. Third, take up space, move your body, or use a prop to grab viewers' attention in the first 3 seconds. In video, you do want to try to grab people's attention in the first 3 seconds. So some movement is good, or having a prop, or your product is an easy one, or, you know, waving them down. There's a lot of creative ways, but in the first 3 seconds, make it evident what they're going to get out of the video, and then get into the meat of the content. For example, if you're going live on Instagram, don't be that person who's saying, I'm just going to wait for people to come on. The replay, hopefully you're going to use the replay on your Instagram feed. So when you start your live, introduce yourself, say who you are, and introduce the topic. And that way the content is kind of optimized for the replay. And yeah, I absolutely recommend that one as well. Okay, this is, I believe, my last slide before breakouts. Remember these things. This is actually taken from my social media mindset workshop that I taught in March. If you do tend to get lost down, I'm looking at the chat right now. What was that? Optimized for replay? Yes. So if you're posting, if you're going in and doing a live on Instagram, specifically. You can also go live on TikTok and on Facebook, but for Instagram, if you're going on Instagram live, you will have the option afterwards to share the video to your feed, which I definitely do recommend. So, and it will post the video exactly as you had it while you were live. So yeah, if you start it with just sitting there and waiting for people to come on, that's a little bit of a more awkward start for a video, as opposed to you starting the live video and saying, hello, welcome, this is what we're going to talk about today. And that way you are retaining the viewer with you throughout your message and your journey too. Okay, so if you're somebody who tends to get down in social media rabbit holes, I definitely recommend post or schedule before you scroll. Share what you want to say before you get inundated with what's going on in other people's worlds, businesses, especially if FOMO or comparison tends to come up, which I know it does for a lot of us, especially personal entrepreneurs or people who are really close to our businesses, like many of us are. Also, I like to say museum feeds are so in 2019. So we're not looking for perfect. And social media will never capture a few personal brands, your full dimensionality, of course, but we still want to see the real you, want to see you in action, doing what you do, doing what you love to do. And like I said, it doesn't need to be a picture perfect curated feed, but still definitely telling a story with your visuals there. Something I like to do on a quarterly basis on kind of the mindset end is Marie Kondo your following list. Unfollow some folks if you find you're following some folks that do make you feel some comparison or some fraudy feelings. Maybe you unfollow those folks unless they're inspiring you and that's truly inspiration. But if you're just noticing how you're reacting to seeing some people's content and you don't necessarily want you're not getting anything for them being in your following, maybe on a quarterly basis, clear out your following list and just do a little cleanup there. And then always, as with anything in business, come back to service and your why. If you mess up a post, you know what? You can archive it or delete it or repost it. It won't mess up your business. But one of the biggest things I see stopping from people from showing up on social and from doing it consistently is just not showing up at all. So I mean, just starting with where you can, with 3 posts a week, ideally daily, or five posts a week, maybe Monday through Friday, depending on your client. But at the end of the day, when you're creating content, think about your avatar, think about their name. Like mine is named Ginger. I'm like, what does she need to hear right now? What is she struggling with? How can I help? How can I bring some value into her day or make her smile today? So coming back to your why is always good for content creation. So those are the slides today for social media magic. Touched on some Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I know that now we're going into Q&A, right, Annie?
We will need to go into the breakout session at this point.
Okay.
I did say that we were going to play things by ear. I do know that some people have been asking if we're ever going to have breakout sessions anymore or not. I know that there are a lot of questions. We do have the mentor hour where we can answer the questions that are left unanswered today. I do think that it's valuable to do this activity that we're about to do, because it's right now going into your profile and making a change. So I think that, yeah, we can just go over the breakout session and then come back. Anybody object?
Perfect.
All right.
Also, hi, Jenny. I love that you're here. Love recognizing some faces in here.
Hi.
Hi. All right. So for breakout sessions today, the main thing that I think it'd be great for y'all to talk about is based on what we talked about for your overall look and feel of your social media profile. So your bio, your visual strategy, and this slide specifically speaks to your bio and how you might put your I help statement into your bio. But yeah, I'd love for you guys to chat about the updates that you'll make to your profile now. Will you add keywords to your name and to your bio? Will you add a freebie, a value add, that like glass of champagne into your bio? And how will you update how you describe what you do in your bio too? This is one way to do it. I think it's an easy way to do it, but the main thing is that they see themselves in your profile and understand transformation that you help facilitate. So yeah, would love to know what you guys come up with.
So let's do questions, because I have a lot of them over here.
Yes, this is my favorite part.
All right. So how do you convert followers into customers?
Question is, how do you convert followers into customers?
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely a combination of the things that of the strategies that I talked about, but I'll say a lot of where they become a customer, unless they're shopping direct from your Instagram page, shopping your products, a lot of that will happen from having kind of like a smooth client journey. You guys are, familiar with the client journey, I think, from this program, right? So you also, when you want to think about your customers' experience with you online, they're probably finding you. They might find you on social media. That's kind of what we're talking about with discoverability, right? But then next, with the link in your bio, you're going to feed them into your newsletter list. I think one of the best ways is to drive traffic into your email list, which you do own as opposed to your social media page, where a lot of the conversion will happen is in your newsletter marketing. It's also a matter of positioning, remaining top of mind, positioning yourself as the expert or the go-to product in your industry, and sharing content. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time by any means too. You can, pull from copy on your website, in your newsletters, in your blogs, especially best performing content. But a lot of it is about consistently showing up and sharing value from your expertise, positioning yourself that way when they are ready to buy or you have a promotion, they are warmed up and ready to go. Your following is full of warm leads for your business. A lot of where conversion happens will also be in your clear call to actions. Maybe you're having a promotion, and if you're a small business, you can say, DM us to get information about this if you're interested in this, or you can lead them somewhere more direct through your link in bio too, but through direct calls to action as well. It's definitely something that can take place over time. And with those of you with a lower ticket offering, something like accessories, or like a wellness studio, or a shopping market where it's a little bit of a lower price tag, that is going to give you like even more direct sales and like more immediate short-term sales. Whereas if you have a high ticket offering, there might be like a little bit more of a longer conversion time for that. And you'll kind of speak to those differently, but it is definitely a matter of staying top of mind.
Wonderful. Thank you. Actually, that is a great thing, because next week we are covering email marketing. So nice. With that, like, having that in mind is just a perfect bridge for the topic of next week. Yeah. I am doing the questions in order, so you guys have to be patient. How to be very targeted to attract and engage specific audiences. Are there services or resources that help you target your customer persona?
Will you repeat that one more time?
Yes. So how do you target people to attract and engage with very specific audiences? So is there any resource that can help you target that customer persona type?
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you brought this up, because we didn't get too much into hashtags today, but definitely hashtags are still, there's a lot of talk about like hashtags being dead, but they're still great to use, or a free tool to use. I definitely still recommend using all if you're a business account on Instagram, using all 30 hashtags. If you're a creator account on Instagram, which I don't know how many of you here might be, but that's like a business version of a personal profile. I recommend using 3 to 5. They recommend even using 3 to 5 hashtags there. Something that we do to bring in customers, bring in community members for our clients, for our social media management accounts, is we are every day, Monday through Friday, spending some time doing outgoing engagement. So do we know what kind of business the person asking that question has? Or I can come up with an example.
No.
Yeah. So if you are, and if you're a local business too, your hashtag strategy is so much different, because you can add on, PDX or Newburgh or Portland to the end of more generic hashtags too. But I would definitely go and search through hashtags that your ideal customer or client are using. So if they're on the coast in a specific city over there, using that city's hashtag, or if you're targeting makers, it could be like handmade love, or a hashtag like this. Think about a hashtag that your ideal customer client is using and click on the hashtag. Also, you can do this in Facebook and TikTok. Click on the hashtag and go and engage with folks who are using the hashtag, who are posting with the hashtag. Comment on their posts, reply to their stories. Replying to their stories will also get you into their messages, which is great. That relationship building aspect we talked about. And another thing you can do is think about businesses who are in alignment with yours. So I keep going back to this wellness studio, but if you're a Portland wellness studio, and maybe you look at if you have a physical space, maybe you look at your neighbors following, or someone who is in your same industry with the same target customer, and look through their followers and engage with their followers. You can also see who is most engaged on their post, who is commenting on their post, and go to those folks' account and engage with them a bit. So again, reply or comment on their posts, reply to their stories, send them a DM if that feels good. A lot of the times, like I said, replying to stories is a good way to get on social, or to get into their DMs and get a conversation going.
I was muted. Can you give some examples of a good bio, for example, since people are going to be doing this on their own? A good bio for product-based, a good bio for service-based, a good bio for mission-based. Mission-based being like a nonprofit, or something along those lines.
Definitely. I think those people, like, there's so many ways to use that. Like, I help statement applied across those different platforms. How about I find you guys some examples, like, to send in the recap email, so I can have that like ready to go, because I could think of some profiles I admire, but I think it'd be helpful to see it in action too, right?
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you.
You said product, service, and what? And nonprofit.
Products, service, and nonprofits. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any tips on interaction, like when you talk about engaging with other accounts and all of that, and being able to generate those conversations online? Can you give us like 3 tips to be able to do that in a good, effective way, and not being annoying? Like, sometimes people slide in your DMs and your DMs, and you're like, why is this person writing? Right? So that the first exposure to your brand is not that,
right.
Right. It's actually a good feeling, so that you don't come across at the first time being something that you don't want to engage with.
Totally. So don't use the engagement as a place to just like sell your product or service off the bat. But when you're engaging and when you're commenting or replying to a story, don't make it about you, make it about them, make it about what they shared about, and like find something specific in what they shared about that you resonate with, and kind of keep the conversation going. Just as, like if you were, again, like if we're at a party with someone or a networking event, which we are right now, and I were to get into conversation together, I would want you to, respond to, I know you'd want me to respond to what you were saying and to reflect back something rather than it would feel so jarring to all of a sudden be like, well, that's great. Why don't I tell you about our services? Check out our profile like that. Thinking about just remembering that it's a conversation and you're truly it's truly a place to build relationships. I think that's helped, as well as setting dedicated times to do this, because it is so easy to get lost in the scrolling rabbit hole and then not show up with intention. You look up an hour later, right? You're like, where's the time gone? I think a lot of us have experienced that from time to time, but set a time, 15 minutes, or so, Monday through Friday. That's like a good, I would say minimum, or you can batch these out. I'm such a fan of batching out your social media content, your engagement. Maybe every day, like after lunch, you spend 15 minutes engaging with ideal customers and clients. That's a good way to go about it as well. Another tip for that is to use all 10 fingers instead of your thumbs. So you can engage on Instagram, on all of at least Instagram and Facebook, of course, on desktop, and use all of your fingers instead of just your thumbs. And honestly, save a lot of time, potential risk, pain. We're already on our devices a little bit too much, right? So I definitely like to engage from desktop, and then also makes it, in my mind, categorized as like a business activity rather than kind of mindlessly looking through.
Okay, and last question, so we can close up this because we have 3 more minutes left. How do you find the ideal time to post? This is a question that a lot of you asked in different ways. Like, how do you find the ideal time?
Yes. So I think this is where the ideal Instagram follower avatar or social media follower avatar worksheet will come in handy, because did you guys, when you got into your ideal customer avatar, did you guys get into thinking about their day and kind of how they are spending their day? Nice. So yeah, imagine, I see a nod, Loki. So yeah, I mean, I like to even close my eyes and visualize this person's day and just think about the moments when they will have some time to spend on social scrolling or posting, and share. Then definitely consistency helps, even though our timelines and feeds are not as chronological as they used to be, still gives the algorithm that information and like tells them when to show your posts. That said, if your content is the kind where you want them to take action, same with like a newsletter, right? Think about what time of the day or week that they're motivated to take action. Like if you're asking them to like reach out to you about a photo shoot or a service, maybe that's not on the weekend, right? That's like on Monday when they're feeling motivated or something like this.
Right. Thank you so much, Jyssica. I know that there are so many more questions left. I'm just going to send them over to you so that we can address them on the mentor hours. And I would like to call on Anna so she can talk to you guys about the Raindrops program, the one-on-one consultations with digital marketing professionals. And we're getting started with that part of the program. I know you guys have had a lot of questions on how to sign up. We are going to be, Anna, are you around?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Can I share my screen, please?
Yes, you should be able to. You are a co-host. If you are not, let me check. You are not. I am sorry. There you go.
Thank you. So thank you everyone for your patience. I know you're pretty excited on what is Raindrops, what you can do in terms of that program. And you have been thinking on your digital marketing needs, and we're here. We were trying to put up the best of our digital marketing providers and all the administration work behind the scenes to be able to provide you with this program. And we are now here. I'm gonna let you see the Raindrops website. Are you able to see it?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So we're finally launching our website this Friday. So you will have premium access to it, and to get to be able to be part of the program, you will need to get to this website. You will have the basic information of the program here, the basic terms and conditions. You have my info here if you have any questions, and you just need to click here to get started. You will get a short, super short form. I know, another form, but it's to try to get your information and to be able to get to the next step where you can see our service providers. So here you see familiar faces of some of our mentors, and you will be being able to schedule an appointment directly. You can see the service that each of the experts has to provide. And with that, you will get connected directly to have the first sessions where you are gonna work with the service providers on understanding your need, and have a discovery segment where you kind of match your need, match the expertise of the service provider, and make a plan on how to use the hours that we can give it to you as a support. We want to be clear on different things on these programs. We have financial advisors that will be more towards our RAINmaker participants, but if you need it, you can select Wendy. And we also will have a legal support with 3 different firms that have different availabilities, that have different expertise, and as you see, you are redirect to each service provider kind of intake form. For this one, remember to scroll down, and you will get that. Some important things, and I will be back to these terms and conditions, is that this is a program that is first come, first serve. So as much as we want to help and provide hours with the experts in all of the areas, and as much hours as you need, well, these are federal dollars, and we would like to spend it the most efficient and broadly possible to serve all the entrepreneurs of our network and new entrepreneurs that are coming to work with us. So you will have access to one area of expertise, and between that area, you choose just one service provider. We will see how the demands goes, and or if we get more funding to be able to support you even more. But just be aware that we want to help all the entrepreneurs. So schedule your time, select your best providers, and they also have a saying in this. So they serve the best they can in terms of what you need. So it might happen, hopefully not, that you might be redirect to another service provider if they are already booked or full, in terms that you cannot schedule an appointment with them. So you may have to choose another one, or maybe the expertise that you need, another service provider in our network could help you the best. So that could happen, and it's in the way to get the best of the service providers and to provide with your needs. You are not obligated to continue any relationship besides the hours that RAIN pay with those experts. Like, we will pay an amount of hours, and you hopefully the plan on that initial call help you to complete what you need. But if the hours that we paid are ended and you still want to work with that service provider, or you don't want to work with them, that's your decision, and it's part of your negotiation with the service providers in terms of how it goes beyond the Raindrops program. And with that, I don't know, Robert, if you want to make another clarification on
Well,
how the program works.
thank you, Anna. This is great. I realize we're over time. I do want to make certain everybody's aware. We did receive federal funds for this purpose, but those funds are not unlimited. And the reality is there have been 100 people participating in this. Our ability to serve that entire group, I think we'd be really, I don't know that other funds will go that far. It kind of depends on who selects what. So there is a first come, first served element to this. So when you do receive the link to this, and if you have any questions, please reach out to Anna or myself or Ani. We'll get your answers. But we want to spend all the dollars. So we do want people to act quickly so that you have the opportunity to get to the service provider you would like. And there will come a point when we run out of dollars, and there's just nothing we can do about that. So I hate to be the wet blanket, but I just have to make certain that you understand that.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Anna. We need to wrap things up, and Jyssica also needs to head out to her other engagements. So with that, I just want to give Jyssica the microphone here to close it up. And thank you guys for staying a little bit longer today.
Thank you. And thanks so much for everyone for having me. I will, see you next week's mentor hour. And I'd love to see you guys make those changes to your profile and your bio that we talked about, and come to the mentor hour and let me know how it went. I'd love to, and it's something to just keep your eye on over time, how that affects the results you see too. So I'm going to share, I have like a last little note for you guys over here, if I can share this. So again, thank you. And I just want to remind you too that, no need to be everywhere all at once, especially in the beginning, but it's definitely all about going and being where your ideal customers or clients are. So start there. Where are they? What platforms are they active on? And how can I serve them? How can I show up where they are? How can they find me? And how can I make it clear to them how I can help them, or our product or service can help them? I'm so excited that we're going to be raffling off some one-on-one support. I do offer one-off 1.5 hour dig-in consultations where we chat about social media strategy or marketing strategy for your business to apply in the short term with long-term goals in mind as well. We're going to be raffling off a few of those, which I'm excited about for those who were here live today, right? And then here's how we can stay connected. I'd love to keep in touch with you guys and also hear how this resonates. And if you applied something and saw great results, that down the line, let me know. That always makes me so happy. That's a big part of my why, and just to connect with awesome entrepreneurs, business owners, folks in the business world. This is my email. This is our social media handle. And then I also wanted to offer you amazing folks a little discount on my Instagram bootcamp course. I have a course where I dive into the 4 pillars I found make up a successful Instagram account that converts for your business. So I have a video course all about that, and I want to offer you guys 20% off if that calls to you, with code MakeItRain. Couldn't help myself with that one. And that's the link right there, styleopal.com/Instagram-bootcamp. So I'm always here if you have questions about that. That's a fun one that you can do on your own time, and it guides you through how to create a strategy that's tailored to you based on these prompts that I walk through. That's the video page that you'll see when you get there. And and then finally, I also want to know, tomorrow at 11 a.m. PST, I'll be going live on the Style Opal about why we're going to change our handle to Style Opal Media, actually, and kind of walk through the how and why for that. Because I know a lot of people are rebranding and updating their online presences right now. So that'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. PST as well on Instagram. But yes, thanks so much for having me, you guys. This was such a pleasure and so much fun, and glad to know that this resonated. And yeah, let's definitely stay in touch.